like to do crazy adventures. We like to go out and explore the world. Is that something you're interested in? My answer was, yeah. So.
Welcome to the Freshline Moto Adventure Club. This isn't a Hollywood blockbuster, and it's definitely not a weekend warrior getaway. This is the real deal. It's about people like you and me traveling to the kind of places most people have only seen on National Geographic and doing it on two wheels. Think of it like a road trip, but instead of just seeing the sights and getting from A to B, you're pushing your boundaries, breaking a sweat, and finding out what you're really made of. Freshline isn't just about going on epic trips. First, you've got to prove you're up for the challenge. Before you can join the expeditions, there's Bootcamp, 11 days in the harsh and beautiful landscape of Namibia. And it's not just a ride through the desert, it's a rite of passage.
For me, I'm new to off-road, so I just need to understand really how it feels to be off-road.
I wanted to get out of my comfort zone, push myself, and see how much I can do.
You know, it's like when they talk about like courage and confidence, right? It doesn't come before, it comes after. And there was a whole lot after on this trip.
This club will get you out there. It'll push you beyond your normal limits that you're going to push yourself. It will show you some hippos and some crazy animals that you normally wouldn't be able to see.
Namibia is off the beaten path down in Southwest Africa, a testing ground that strips away all the fluff and shows you exactly who you are. Because out here, you're not judged by your gear, your bike, or how cool your Instagram looks. You're judged by how you show up when things get tough.
What are the things you need to do? Fitness level has to be high. Your riding experience has to be high.
Maybe this is too much. No more, I'm done with this.
It's honestly been one of the best experiences of my life.
The worst and the best at the same time.
This is Freshline Bootcamp. It's real, it's raw, and it's waiting for anyone with the right stuff. Over the next 11 days, a group of everyday guys, hard workers, business owners, dads, and dreamers come together to see if they've got the guts and the grit to earn their place in the club.
I would say once in a lifetime opportunity to go push yourself and to find out what your limits are, and you'll be surprised.
We came from different corners of the world, but we all had this itch to experience something that would rattle us out of our everyday lives.
I want to learn a bit more about myself, and it's not all about riding bikes.
I kind of sit in a little island at home. It's really hard to find people that are interested in doing the things that I like to do. I don't want to live the same 6 months over and over again, so I booked this one for my birthday.
We met our coaches. These guys were the real deal. Some were pro motocross and rally riders. Others had a military background with mission planning and physical training expertise.
So guys, listen, good question, learning opportunity. And so that's why I talk about the wrapping. If you have not a massive leak, but you have a serious injury, you pack it and wrap it up tight, all right? This is to keep infections out.
They laid it all out for us. This wasn't just about riding bikes. It was about pushing ourselves and finding out what we were made of. No sugarcoating, just the raw truth. That's exactly what we signed up for.
It's like, okay, we will push you through some difficult situation, and if you can get injured, you probably get injured. So
we had a guy at Brandberg slip and fall a vagina into his fucking elbow. He literally had like a pussy running up the back of his tricep. That is why super glue was invented. I don't do stitches.
Human beings are interesting characters. We kind of want to do a lot of things, and then sometimes when you get stuck in the middle of it, you have that oh shit moment, like maybe I wasn't prepared for this. And we kind of thought that Namibia is a great place to do it because it offers Freshline prospects the opportunity to come to Africa. to get an expedition, to get challenged, but also learn some skills.
Much of surviving a trip of this nature was simply about keeping the bikes running no matter what the desert throws at you. Our instructors walked us through everything from replacing spark plugs to cleaning out carbs, swapping out clutches, you name it. We learned the ropes so that when, not if, something broke, we knew how to fix it. We learned how to tow each other as well, an essential skill for when a bike inevitably ran out of gas or needed more than just a quick roadside fix. By the end of the trip, we'd swapped out more spark plugs than we had bikes. But these weren't just lessons in mechanics, they were skills that could mean the difference between getting home in time for dinner or spending the night stranded with nothing but gangs of baboons and your regrets for company.
Really, everyone had a different background. We had military experience, we had civilian experience, we had guys that, very athletic, other guys not super athletic, but at the same time, we somehow all connected, all got along well together. And I think it's because we all came in with the same mentality, which is, this is gonna be tough, it's gonna be kind of brutal, but we're all gonna go through it together.
We were thrown right into it, starting with 6 a.m. PT, because nothing says good morning like a sweaty wake-up call. From there, we jumped into training drills that seemed innocent enough at first. By day 2, we were slapping on tourniquets and learning how to assess injuries. Day 3, we were testing our skills as riders on a local farm, where things got progressively tougher.
Clutch, rear brake lock.
Imagine riding up rocky hills and scrambling to keep your bike upright while your new buddies cheer you on or laugh at your crashes. Either way, it's all part of the deal. We had some wild rides around that farm, but nothing beat the day we took on the mountain.
Ish, yeah.
By the time we made it to the top, we were sweaty, bruised, and grinning like idiots. That's what accomplishment feels like when you've earned it the hard way. After a few days of intense training, we packed up and set off for the real adventure. We piled into a van and headed out of Windhoek, learning how to read maps and navigate the landscape. It sounds easy, right? Wrong. You're riding across the desert, chasing waypoints on a map, and trying not to get lost.
Just check nav, we're still on track. One does not simply walk into Mordor, but a dirt bike. Now you're talking.
There's no script, no guaranteed outcomes, just a journey that's just as much about the people you're with as it is about the places you go. Every night at boot camp ends the same way, around the campfire.
As you get up there, say, "Yar!" over that little pole. And then they turned around.
It's not just a place to warm up or swap stories about the day's ride. It's where the real conversations happen.
Did you puke in your helmet?
Yeah, I certainly did. Yeah. You couldn't smell it when I was talking through my mic. It was covered in it. So.
Oh, that's why you wanted the water to wash the
to clean
helmet.
up the puke out of my helmet.
Fuck. You must have just come.
No, luckily not.
That
would have been awkward.
I have to admit that this group of people was different. The way everybody bonded was amazing. And I've been on this earth long enough to know that you're not gonna get a group of guys that's gonna get along like this.
Because we're on this club, on this trip, and we chose to be here, we're all similar-ish, but we're still different. But seeing others open up makes it easy for yourself to open up, and that was like a thing that I needed in my life.
We all have emotions, we all have struggles, we all have battles. And I think that was a big thing, is that when we shared all of that and we talked about it, we all connected very quickly on that level of we've been through some stuff.
Guys open up about their lives back home, their goals, their struggles. You talk about what's working and what's not and where you want to go from here. You give advice, you get advice, and you start setting goals for the life waiting for you back at home. You get a new understanding that the true reward of exploration is the people we meet along the way. We spent a couple days wrestling our bikes through deep sand.
Oh shit, man, sand. I've never ridden in sand before. I don't know how to ride in sand.
It's terrifying, thrilling, and hilarious all at once.
I went down twice.
That's it?
Yeah. Lessons learned, and each time I went down.
Yeah, let's see what you got going on here, man.
Otherwise, run it like through the whole weekend.
Really? You want to show that? Yeah, buddy. Oh, man.
There were spills, bruises, and one broken collarbone that reminded us all why we had to stick together.
It was what, day 3 of the trip? I took a very hard spill going very, very fast. Luckily, we'd already gone through all the medical training and everything with the guys.
He's got a med kit with him.
Med kit.
Any med kits?
Hey, get the med kit out the truck.
As I was laying there, I was looking around seeing all my guys. They were taking care of me.
What the fuck happened?
With your crash?
I crashed?
You crashed, yeah. You hit dust, you went right, track went left.
It went left and you kept going right, and then you said that you launched off a rock. I didn't see it, but you said that you hit a rock and you launched.
You're all right, bro. A little bit of a concussion, buddy. But you'll be okay.
Yeah, I got a med kit in my backpack. I've said that, haven't I?
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, I got a fucking concussion.
Is that comfy, then?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
90% right
So
arm.
these you can
They had me to a hospital, to a doctor's office and a hospital within 30 minutes.
Thanks to our medical training, we got our guy stabilized and to the hospital in record time. And he even rejoined us later, showing the kind of grit that this trip is all about. The next day provided us with our first large-scale mission and travel day, a long haul through the desert to Brandberg Mountain and White Lady Lodge. One of the highlights of the trip was hiking up Brandberg Mountain, a place where the past feels almost within reach. The mountain is covered in ancient rock art, with the most famous piece being the White Lady. These paintings, scattered across the stone, show how people lived, hunted, and thrived in a landscape that most of us would find unthinkable with today's comforts.
I think I believe if I can do it, because I've never done any exercise or anything in my life. I don't do physical activities. I hate gym. So for me, if I can do it, then I think, and I'm not, the tall person with a lot of muscles and stuff. If I can do it, other people, I'm sure, can do it. It's mind over body. I think that's what it comes down to.
Of course, not everything went smoothly.
Ah, my fucking bike just died.
There were breakdowns, gas shortages, and wild encounters with the local wildlife. But hey, if everything went according to plan, it wouldn't be much of an adventure. Our next challenge was a hellish ride through volcanic terrain. It's the kind of place that makes you feel like you've landed on Mars. The heat hits you like a sledgehammer, and then out of nowhere, you're on the coast, shivering in the cold Atlantic wind. We finally rolled into a small settlement called Cape Cross, where the air was thick with the smell of a massive seal colony. Just when we thought we'd catch a break, our instructors had other plans. They marched us onto the beach, where we linked arms and waded into the freezing Atlantic. What followed was an hour of surf torture. a relentless beatdown in the waves that made you question your life choices. But you look to your left and your right, and you see your teammates hanging on, freezing and struggling, but not giving up. That's the moment you realize you're not alone, and it's worth every second of discomfort. The instructors put us through these challenges to weed out the quitters. They want to see who's going to buckle and who's going to dig deep. It's not about being the best, it's about refusing to quit, no matter how much it sucks. The beer afterwards, the best one I ever had. When we finally hit the road again, it was for the longest day yet. 14 hours of riding single track in desert sand, starting at sunrise and ending well after dark. If you told me before this trip that I'd ride nearly 200 kilometers of unforgiving terrain in a single day, I would have called you nuts. But by this point, the rhythm of the ride takes over and you just keep going. When we finally made it to our lodge that night, dusty and exhausted, the dinner was like a feast for kings, and we slept like dead men. The final days were a magical blur of sunrise hikes, wildlife reserves, and navigating more tough terrain. But there was finally a moment to catch our breath and really take it all in. Nothing quite prepares you for the serenity of Namibia. The vast open spaces, the endless skies, and the kind of quiet that makes you feel like you're the only person on Earth. Namibia is one of those places that stays with you. One of the most unforgettable parts of the journey was visiting the San tribe, the first people of Africa. These are the descendants of the earliest Homo sapiens, who have been living in southern Africa for over 150,000 years. It's a humbling thing, standing in the presence of a culture that predates anything most of us have ever known. Theirs is a kind of music that seems to speak directly to your bones, simple but deeply moving. A reminder that some things haven't changed since the dawn of time. Meeting the Sand people wasn't just another stop on the ride. It was a window into a way of life that's older than anything else on Earth.
If you'd have told me when I was a teenager that I'll be riding motorcycles through an area where I could see giraffes and elephants, I would have told you was out of your mind. This right here has been an amazing experience. It's gonna be hard to top this one.
We finished up with a series of fuck games, a grueling test of everything we'd learned. It's the kind of thing that makes you wonder why you ever thought this was a good idea. But here's the thing, you don't do this because it's easy. You do it because it's hard.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Because it forces you to rely on the guy next to you. And because at the end of it all, you've got a story that's yours forever. This trip isn't for everyone, but if you're lucky enough to make it through, it's something you'll never forget. At the end of boot camp, you're left with more than just memories. You leave with a brotherhood.
So I've never been to Africa before, but I'm sure I will come back.
Going there, facing that is a challenge. Still didn't want to give up.
The experience with the family, you know, it becomes a family group, and
now I know I can go through that kind of thing and push my limits.
100%. I found the type of people that I want to be as my people.
Whatever your path is, seek out your tribe. Find those experiences that challenge yourself and connect with the deeper part of you. But not everyone needs a motorcycle or a trip to Africa to find their own Freshline. Every one of us owes it to ourselves to take a chance, to break out of our routine, and push towards something that feels bigger than the everyday grind. Because when you step outside of your comfort zone, you start to understand what truly matters. You learn more about who you are, what you're capable of, and what's worth fighting for. And you bring that knowledge back with you, letting it color your everyday life and help you live every moment with more purpose, more connection, and more appreciation for the journey we're all on. This is Freshline. We ride together into the unknown. not for the destination, but for the journey. Because out here in the wild, we find not just adventure, but ourselves.